Right guys, how are we doing? This is the second time I've had to film this video because the first time my microphone blocked. Turns out the USB part of my computer's failed, so that's great news. Anyway, just found out right this second, so let's get on with the video. Alright, so in this video today I'm going to show you how to make some horns. In the video a few weeks ago I showed you how to apply them and turn yourself into a devil. I'm going to be teaching you how to make the horns. I promised you that last time and I'm going to go through it today. Trust me, it's easy. Let's just get straight on with it. The product that you're going to need is something called Crayola Model Magic, and it's designed for children. It's a really lightweight air drying clay. You can sculpt quite a few different things with this clay, but what's really important is that once you've opened it, you either keep it airtight or you end up using the entire bag. Something that I do if I see that I don't have much left is I will make a collection of random horns so that I always have horns to hand if I decide I want to do some kind of demon look. I'm going to pull out a small section. I have used this to make small hats among many other things, but to make a horn, first of all, you want to make a ball. You want to try and avoid anything that looks like a fold in the ball because it would lead to cracks later on, and this goes to any shape. You can fill in these holes with hot glue later on if they are really bad, but honestly it's best to just try and avoid them at this stage. Once you've made the ball, you need to press very lightly on one side while rolling it. Tease it down all the way until you get a cone. Then what I like to do is to squash it down on itself really gently while standing it on something flat like this. You can also bend it at the top so slightly and push it at an angle so you end up with more of a horn shape. The reason why I flatten it a lot at the base is because I personally don't like it when it is rounded at the bottom. As you will see from the Devil tutorial, I like to build a base with liquid latex around it because how I imagine horns to be is that the horns have to grow through and penetrate the skin on their way out. It wouldn't just appear and sit. So I'm pretty happy with the shape of this horn, but it looks really smooth and kind of dull, so we need to put texture in. I like to take a compass and lightly drag it down. If it catches like this, it isn't a problem. It's just going to add texture. When holding it, I'm holding it really lightly because it's still very, very malleable. You want to go around the horn to add the texture, make sure that you are pressing lightly. When you've done the majority of it, it might be a little bit deformed because of how you've had to handle it while you were putting the texture in. That's fine, no problem. So stick it back down to a surface, mold it back into place, and then take your compass again and put some of those lines back in. You just want to go really lightly and make sure it is stuck in place when you do this. I would class this as finished now. I know that when I paint it, it's going to look very, very different. It's going to look something a lot more like this. So it's fine, and we want to leave it somewhere to air dry. I know this one is finished, but you can see it's so lightweight, pretty sturdy and quite strong. I actually painted this one with body paint while it was stuck to me. I attached it while it was unpainted and I used the leftover paint on my brush to colour it, and I shaded it with eyeshadow. And that's how I ensured it be consistent with the rest of my makeup. With this clay, I've also built a unicorn horn, so let's also build one of those. I'm going to take some more clay this time and I'm going to elongate it into a big roll. I'm also going to split it in half and then I'm going to twist them both together. Now once I've done this, I'm going to roll it, but I'm going to squash it in on itself as well because I want it to be shorter and I want it to be stronger. So I'm going to squash it in on itself. Now I also feel like it will benefit a bit more from being twisted a little bit more in some spaces. So let's go through and twist all those together too. I want it to be a bit shorter because then it's probably got more chance of staying on my forehead a lot longer. So I'm just going to kind of cut it around here because I feel like that's the right space. And then I'm going to shape and mold it a bit more till I feel like it's right. We did on the other one as well. Make sure you flatten out the base on a flat surface and use this as an opportunity to mold anything else. On the other one that I made, I did provide a base. However, for this one, I think I'm going to leave it because I'd like to use latex for this one. If you want to make a button for a Coraline piece, and let's say you want to stick them onto glasses, but you didn't want to make them out of paper or card because you want them to be more 3D, that's no problem. Let's build that. Again, roll out a ball and then begin to flatten it. I use my hand at first and then I use something that has a flat base. I'm using a cup here and just press it down firmly to squash it. Now we need to add a bit more of a circle shape on the inside to give it that button texture. It's a little smaller than I wanted, so I will lightly get the impression and press the edges in to shrink the button so slightly. It's important here that you do not use this as a cookie cutter because we just want the impression. Buttons tend to have 4 holes, so I'm just taking a pen lid and making the impression. You could absolutely cut the holes all the way through so you can see through it, but if you do, make sure to space them out so the middle crossbars don't break. It's best to leave this in place to dry because it'll be difficult to lift without damaging the sculpture. Alright, so there is an alternative method to making things out of model magic, but it's extremely long and arduous, which is you would take, you know, like the hard clay, like the one that, yeah, the hard one, and then you would mold what you wanted out of it, and then you would like layer it like a bald cap with layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of liquid latex, but not the bottom. And when it's all dry, you would like the bottom part out of the latex, so you kind of have like a shell, and then you would like stuff that with cotton, something that's lightweight, and then you would like pop that and then use that on your head and etc. But it takes too long, and I'm really impatient. This works for me, and it's easier and it's fine like this. I'm just going to do it this way, but there's that way as well if you want to do it that way. Please remember, when you stick things to your face, it has to be skin-safe adhesive. You should not be using anything on your face that is not skin-safe adhesives. This includes things like super glue. Do not put that on your face. I like to use Prozaid. Prozaid, I think, is great. You can also use Spirit Gum. Spirit Gum, I think, is quite cheap. And if you're going to be removing it, you do not, like, straight off your skin. You have to use a Prozaid remover, some kind of remover to pull it off, because otherwise you will damage your skin. You have to be really careful with the chemicals that you put on your skin. A big part of the SFX industry is chemistry, and so you do not want to be having a chemical experiment on your face. I will tell you now, you will end up with burn. Anyway, be careful. Also, if you're going to be using things like Prozaid and adhesives, you want to do a patch test. I know it's super boring, and I know you probably don't care, and you're probably going to skip through this part and pretend, but health and safety is really, really important. If you end up with an allergic reaction, you're going to be really sad about it. I've had allergic reactions before from things. It's not fun. I had an allergic reaction on the top part of my lip from some Nivea bleach, and the top part of my lip, all of this part here, scabbed and bled, and I had to have the part of my face in a sink of lukewarm water for 2 hours while I tried to cool down the burns. And then I had a burnt mustache on myself for 2 weeks until it healed at university during summer. There was no hiding that. So please make sure that you do patch tests before you put chemicals and stuff on your face. So make sure you do that, okay? Because, I mean, it would have been nice to have known that I shouldn't have used that product and not end up with scabby upper lip for 2 weeks. In general, I hope this video has been really helpful for you. If you want to see how I stuck them on, you can check out my devil tutorial. And if you are going to be using this, I hope it's been useful. I like the idea of me being useful for you guys. That makes me happy. Please share with me what you've done. I am genuinely interested in what you have done. If you've seen this and you've gone off and done something and you want to be like, Mel, look what I did. I'm here on the other side. I'm interested. I'd like to see it. I'd like to put it on my Instagram stories. I'd like to be like, look what you guys did, and celebrate that with you. I think it's fabulous. Like, I'm interested, so please show me what you've done. Overall, if you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to do the things. Also, you can follow me on my other social media channels as well. I post different things in different places, so I recommend you following me in different places. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been super helpful for you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys, thank you so much. Bye.